I spend a lot of time on Instagram, and I have a feeling you do too, or else we wouldn't be here having this conversation right now. I know social media isn't great for me, but for me, it's more realistic to manage the time that I am using it as opposed to cutting it out completely. As someone who compulsively pulls out their hair, taking control of my hair loss experience in something that I do every single day, which is using Instagram, has been pretty monumental in helping me recover in ways that I didn't exactly expect. And hopefully this will help you use Instagram as a tool for recovery as opposed to a weapon of mass mental destruction. By the way, this video is inspired by another YouTuber, and her name is Harlow. She did an awesome video about detoxifying her Instagram, where she trained her Instagram algorithm to only feed her like puppy accounts instead of like influencers and like skinny tea and all that stuff. I will link that video in the description. I highly recommend that you watch it because it made me really happy, and puppies make me happy too. Let's talk about ignoring posts. This is such an underrated feature that I don't think people use as often as they should, and when I got into the swing of using it, I was surprised of how often I would use it. All this button does is teach Instagram what you want to see by telling them what you don't want to see. If you're like me and you tend to get trapped in the Instagram Explore page in like an endless spiral, this feature will be super helpful because the Instagram Explore page is just the amalgamation of what Instagram thinks that you want to see, whether you like it or not. You could like hate follow somebody and then the Explore page will like send you all of their friends' posts because you hate follow somebody. This handy feature will, you know, get all those posts off of your Explore and maybe, like in Harlow's video, introduce a mass of puppies and kittens and just nice posts that make you feel good and that makes your life better as opposed to making your life worse. The fun part is no one will ever know that you ignored their post. Doing this is for you and for your personal growth and for making the most out of Instagram. Like, if you're going to use this hellhole of a social media, you might as well make it a hellhole that like suits you best. This isn't about like sheltering yourself from like the real world and problems in the world. I use Instagram to catch up with my friends just as much as I use Instagram to learn, but I don't use Instagram for perpetuating like self-hatred and insecurity towards myself. That's something I do enough in my own free time. I don't need Instagram to promote that in my life. Instagram's advertising has like spiraled out of control in the past couple years. We've gone from having like one ad every 10 posts to every other post being a sponsored post or being an advertisement that Instagram is feeding you. I'm gonna say this a lot. Instagram is the amalgamation of all the things that you like to look at, whether you like it or not. So the ads are going to be curated towards the type of post that you like, the type of people that you follow, and the type of post that you engage with. So with these three factors in mind, as somebody experiencing hair loss, I engage with a lot of hair accounts, a lot of wig accounts, a lot of hair growth and doing research about that kind of stuff. So Instagram knows I really like hair stuff. So I get advertised hair growth stuff all the damn time. But the good thing is, Instagram also has a system where you can let them know that these ads aren't relevant to you. Because honestly, even as someone who's dealing with hair loss and compulsive hair pulling specifically, hair growth isn't something that's going to help me. Luckily, my problem isn't that I want to have long hair, because I know that having long hair and growing my hair longer isn't going to make me happy. My actual problem is that I tie my self-worth to the length of my hair, and there is no like pill or serum or whatever that can that can fix that. That's mental health business, and these hair growth serums like don't have any business on my feed, and I don't want them there. But shout out to my FBI agent. I know they're working hard behind the scenes. Let's talk about blocking accounts for a second. Influencers don't know and don't care that you block their accounts. This is something I do pretty often. Maybe you would be surprised to know what kind of accounts I block. I'm not blocking anyone who's like directly offensive to like myself or my lifestyle, which is a really great use of blocking people. But I think that's what people associate with blocking people. You can only block someone if they've like cursed your family, put a spell on you. No, guys, you could block people for other reasons too. So for me, the main account that I like to block, and I say this as nicely as possible, the main account that I love blocking from my feed are like Instagram baddies and like Instagram models who are specifically female and Asian and close to me in age, with long hair. Ding ding ding, can we see the association of my self-worth being tied to the length of my hair? Whenever I see these like Instagram models with the super long hair, if I find myself on their page for longer than a couple minutes, I automatically take that as a sign to block them. Seeing these posts tends to send me into a self-doubt spiral where I revert back to like my teenage self, where I think I need long hair to like be someone or mean something, and that's kind of a scary place for me to be. Every time I'm on a page and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm just like loving this girl's like posts, I'll like all her photos and everything, I'll scroll all the way back to the top and block her account, because if I don't, Instagram algorithm time, baby. The Instagram algorithm is gonna think, oh, you had such a good time hanging out on this girl's page, you liked so many of her pictures, and guess what my explore page is going to be for the next like 9 to 12 business days of my life. You're going to see a pattern here. Using Instagram is just training the algorithm to work with you as opposed to against you. When Instagram is working against me, it's taking all these girls that I like creep on Instagram and assuming that just because I'm on their page, I like that content, but Instagram doesn't understand intention. AI doesn't understand that people like to creep on others with the intention of like envy and jealousy, which is something that I feel and I experience, and that's like okay, but this is what I do to combat that. Another thing that can be helpful is setting a timer for your technology. You're basically child-proofing social media from yourself. You can either set a timer of how long you want to spend on Instagram, even if that timer is just in your head. Just set the intention of, okay, I don't want to spend more than 2 hours on Instagram today, or I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes on Instagram right now, like during my lunch break. Think about it as a way you are controlling your environment and taking control of your social media experience. You don't just have to control it from like within the app while you're using it, you can also control it outside of the app by not getting on the app sometimes. You don't have to follow every single account like out there. You don't have to follow every single mental health account that is relevant to you. You don't have to follow every single woke news source. You don't even need to follow every single one of your friends if you don't like what they post. Literally, the only criteria you need to follow someone is, do I like what they post, and is this helpful for me? And that's how you take control and like have some agency in your Instagram experience. For trichotillomania, for example, which is compulsive hair pulling, if I were to follow every single hair pulling account, my whole feed would be nothing but hair pulling. But when I go on Instagram, I go to check up on my friends and to learn something new and to just like have a good time. If my entire newsfeed is bombarded with hair content, that's not necessarily a good time for me, and maybe it's different for you, and that's okay. But even though I have my own like mental health page, I don't follow every single one that pops up, because I'm trying to be really intentional with my Instagram and intentional about who I follow, what I see, and what I interact with, because that's how the AI machine is going to learn what I like to see. Following someone on Instagram isn't a symbol of friendship. It doesn't concrete somebody's friendship. It doesn't concrete somebody's friendship with you, and that's cool. Instagram is literally a social media tool. Let's use it socially, and let's use it as a tool to better ourselves as opposed to tearing ourselves down. By unfollowing those hair goals accounts that make me feel less than and revert me back to like these dark spiraling times, I'm able to make more room in my life for thinking about my mental illness and working on it in a way that's productive for me. And in turn, that gives me room to freak out about the other things in my life that aren't necessarily hair related, which is fun and exciting. And as someone who is solely hyper-focused on my hair for many, many years, I like the fact that I can have an existential crisis about other parts of my life instead of strictly my hair all the time. And just in case you need to hear this, mental health is not an overnight fix. Doing these tips is more of a long-term game. You are slowly chipping away at what Instagram thought you were, and rebuilding your identity to the Instagram algorithm to give you something that is helpful and productive for you to consume. But that's something that you have to decide for yourself. On this quest I've been on of learning about my mental illness and retraining my Instagram and doing all these little things, it just helped me really solidify the fact that hair loss isn't that bad and that hating myself is actually a lot worse. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. That would really mean a lot to me. I hope you have the best day that you could possibly have, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!